When Thor glimpsed the future, his scream shook the Bifrost itself. But Earth mocked his warning. Now, the skies bleed red, the Justice Tower lies in ruins, and Superman isn't holding back anymore. One mistake unleashed the god within the Man of Steel. This isn't justice. It's judgment. And no Avenger, no council, no god can stop what's coming. The vision. The thunder roared above the halls of Asgard, not in celebration, but in warning. Thor stumbled out of the great observatory, drenched in cold sweat, heart racing like a war drum. His eyes, glowing faintly blue from the echo of the cosmic vision, stared into nothingness. He had just seen it. A timeline that should never exist. A fracture in fate. In the Bifrost shimmer, he had witnessed a dark earth, cloaked in crimson lightning. An alien sky, oceans boiling, the Avengers base torn apart. And at the center of it all stood Superman, eyes burning, his cape torn, and in his hand the shattered mask of Iron Man. No, he was one of us. Thor whispered. What madness turns a god of hope into a god of ruin? He summoned Mjolnir, and lightning cracked through the 9 realms. They must be warned. Now, Scene 2, the Council rejects. The Avengers Council had gathered. A rare joint session. The full roster: Iron Man, Hulk, Doctor Strange. You said. 5-line hook nahi, do HR, APRTKY SAF last MN only part end ho, or cushion I. ChatGPT said. Understood. Here is part 1, 1,000 words, of your high engagement, fast viral superhero story. Part 1, The Omen of Thunder. From the story, Thor warned them, but no one listened. Superman's judgment begins. The sky above Asgard split like torn parchment. Thunder groaned through the heavens, not as battle music, but as a scream. Thor dropped to one knee inside the observatory, his fists clenched, face pale. For a god of thunder to tremble, it was unheard of. But he had seen it. In the time stream, summoned by Heimdall's forbidden lens, Thor had watched a future unravel. It began with a red sun. Not Earth's sun, not even a star, but a weapon, forged from collapsed solar matter, orbiting a dead Earth like a predator. And beneath it, Superman standing alone. The corpses of heroes, Hulk, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Spider-Man, lay scattered like dolls. Cities were cracked open like bones. And above Superman's head floated the council seal, burning. Thor screamed, breaking the connection. He charged through the palace like a man possessed. Summon them all. Now, he roared. Iron Man banner. Strange. The council must hear this. Council chamber, Earth orbit station. The heroes sat in a circle inside the floating station known as Pantheon 1. The air was tense. Thor stood in the center, armor scorched, eyes wild. I saw a war not waged by Thanos. Not Darkseid. Not gods or monsters. It was Superman. And it wasn't vengeance. It was judgment. The silence was awkward. Then Tony Stark chuckled, sipping from a glass of water. Thor, buddy, you sure you didn't have one too many tankards before napping in the Bifrost? Thor glared. He murdered you, Stark. Your mask was in his hand. Bruce Banner leaned forward, nervous. Are we talking mind control? Magic? Maybe a clone. No, Thor replied. He was himself. And he believed he was right. Doctor Strange's cloak shifted restlessly. There's no prophecy in the book of Vishanti that shows Kal-El turning on us. Thor slammed his hand on the table, the metal warping. And yet I saw it. Earth destroyed. All of you gone. And Superman alone. Silence again. Then came the worst response of all. Laughter. From behind the shadows stepped Black Panther, arms folded. I respect the thunder, but even gods dream strange things. Visions are not fate. Thor's jaw clenched. You think I enjoyed being the bearer of doom? Tony scoffed. We'll keep an eye on Clark. But unless he burns a building down, I'm not interrogating him like a criminal. Thor turned away, disgusted. When your bones are ash and your cities are dust, remember this moment. Earth, metropolis. Superman stood above the city, eyes closed, cape dancing in the wind. He heard everything. His ears pierced every conversation, every whisper, including Thor's warning, including Tony's laughter. He wasn't angry. Not yet. But he was disappointed. He had tried, again and again, to warn them. The alien threat was already here, buried deep beneath the Earth's crust. He had detected the frequencies, the rising pulses, the gravitational shifts. But they wouldn't listen, because they were comfortable, because they had become gods in suits, not protectors. And then his hand twitched, just slightly. Far below, a hidden military base, marked black on all maps, experienced a power failure. 3 nuclear test servers melted down. He didn't blink. He just watched. Council chambers, 2 days later. Are we being watched? Natasha Romanoff asked, looking around. Everyone was quiet. I felt it too, said Wanda. Like eyes just behind your thoughts. Tony activated holograms, scanning the room for alien bugs. I'm telling you, it's just Thor getting in your heads. No, said Strange. Magic has started misbehaving. He waved his hand. The spell glitched. That's never happened before. Hulk frowned. I've been having nightmares. Not mine. Clark's. They all stared at each other. Then Black Widow asked what none of them dared say aloud. What if Thor wasn't wrong? Fortress of Solitude, hours later. Superman stood before the Phantom Core, staring into the rift. He was speaking to someone. They don't see it coming, and I won't let this world burn. A voice echoed from the rift, alien, cold, and ancient. Then you must make them fear fire before the true fire arrives. Superman nodded slowly. He turned. His symbol glowed faintly red in the core's reflection. Let judgment begin. Meanwhile, deep space transmission. Somewhere in the void, a dormant satellite came to life. An old protocol, buried during the Kryptonian collapse. Encrypted and untraceable. Kal-El has activated the Phantom Core. Judgment Protocol 7. Earth is no longer neutral. Begin extermination run. Coordinates locked. Earth. Incoming. Eyes in the shadows. Earth orbit, Pantheon 1. The mood had changed. Thor's vision was no longer dismissed as thunder madness. Every hero on the Avengers Council now felt it. Something was off. Not a war. Not a villain. But a presence. Tony Stark hadn't slept in 2 days. His Iron Legion satellites kept glitching. Cameras froze when focused on Metropolis. Scans were clean, but something still screamed wrong. Jarvis, run deep sweep audio diagnostics on Kal-El. Tony muttered. Get me voice tremors, heart rate, heat sig. Sir, that would constitute surveillance of a council member. Override. He's not acting like one anymore. Metropolis, Daily Planet rooftop. Clark Kent stood still, hands behind his back. He stared across the skyline, not looking at the world, but through it. Lois approached cautiously. She hadn't seen him blink in 5 minutes. Clark? You okay? He didn't answer at first. When he finally turned, his eyes were calm, but distant. What would you do, Lois, if you knew a storm was coming, and no one listened? I'd scream until they did. Clark nodded slowly. Then maybe I haven't screamed loud enough. He took off without a word, leaving only a gust of wind and a whisper. Forgive me. Wakanda, Council Secure Link. Black Panther paced his chamber, frowning at the surveillance feed. Wakandan sensors were far more advanced than Stark's. And yet, when Superman passed over Africa, all data corrupted. He's masking something, Chala whispered. Or someone is masking it for him. He opened a hidden link. One he'd promised never to use. The image flickered. I need access to the old Kryptonian files. Pre-crisis era. Level Omega. The AI on the other end paused. Then answered. Accessing. Warning. Activating these protocols may trigger alien counterdetection. Chala narrowed his eyes. Let them watch. I want them to know we're not blind anymore. Doctor Strange sanctum, nightfall. Candles flickered violently as Stephen Strange floated cross-legged inside a protective spell circle. His third eye opened. What he saw shattered his breath. Thousands of alternate timelines, all diverging at one point. Superman's judgment. In 847 of them, he was the savior. In 23,458 of them, he was the executioner. Only 3 timelines survived. And in all three, Thor had died trying to stop him. Strange awoke, coughing blood. The walls cracked. The windows screamed. Wong rushed in, but Strange stopped him. It's begun. New York, Avengers Tower. Alarms erupted. Incoming. Massive gravity flux detected. Tony bolted into the lab. What the hell now? Jarvis's voice trembled for the first time. It's not from Earth, sir. It's from beneath it. A hologram of the planet flickered, showing something waking up beneath the mantle. Long coiled alive. Tony paled. Thor was right. He saw this. But Superman didn't cause it. Jarvis corrected him. Sir, he activated it. Fortress of Solitude. Superman stood in silence. The walls of his sanctuary now pulsed with alien tech. The phantom core had fused with the Earth's crust. Behind him, a dozen hovering AI shards glowed. These were not Kryptonian. They were older. You've done well, came the voice. I didn't do this for you, Superman replied coldly. I did it to prepare them. They refused. Superman's fists clenched. Then they'll obey. The walls split open, revealing a chamber of floating red crystals, each one humming with deadly potential. Each one a planet killer. SHIELD Black Site. 24 hours later, Nick Fury stormed through the underground vault. You said the Kryptonian was stable. Maria Hill followed. He was. We have no proof he's hostile. Fury slammed a file down, filled with reports of disappearing surveillance planes, melting satellites, and magnetic shifts in Superman's flight path. He's silencing the eyes before he moves. And we're sitting here like ducks. Suddenly, the lights cut out. Every screen blinked red. Warning. Phantom code signal received. Target locked. Avengers Council. Fury's jaw dropped. It's not a war. It's an execution list. Meanwhile, Moonbase Echo. An emergency beacon flared from the dark side of the moon. A lone surviving Kree outpost transmitted one final message. Earth compromised. Phantom Protocol 7 active. Judgment has begun. Kal-El is no longer a symbol. He is a sentence. The first strike. Washington, D.C. Avengers Emergency HQ. The council was in full lockdown. Holograms buzzed in the war room. Surveillance feeds were static. Stark's satellites were failing. Strange's mirror realm had collapsed in on itself, and Wakanda had gone radio silent. Captain America tightened the strap on his shield. We call him a friend. But friends don't cut off your eyes and ears before knocking. Tony Stark stood by the screen, grim. Jarvis confirmed it. Every early warning system he disabled wasn't targeting him. It was tracking what's coming. Bruce Banner paced. Then why melt them down? Thor entered. Because he doesn't trust us anymore. And soon neither will Earth. We stopped Ultron. Thanos. Kong. Why would Clark turn on us? Steve asked. Thor spoke without hesitation. Because he thinks we've already failed. Metropolis, midnight. The first tremor hit like a silent scream. Glass shattered across every skyscraper within a 5-mile radius. But there was no explosion, no sound, just a sudden, violent absence of matter. 3 levels of a hidden underground weapons lab had simply vanished. Superman hovered above the crater. His eyes glowed like a forge, his voice low. This lab was building gravity bombs. They didn't stop, even after the UN's ban. I warned them. Now it's gone. A drone tried to scan him from above. He looked up. The drone disintegrated midair. He didn't move. He just said, "Judgment isn't war. It's correction." Meanwhile, inside Stark Tower, Tony sat alone, watching frame-by-frame footage of a lab's destruction. No beam. No strike. Just reversal of gravity in a contained space. He whispered to himself, "He's not fighting us. He's disabling us like we're part of the problem." Pepper's voice crackled through. "Tony, what do we do if he's right?" Tony stared blankly. Then we were never the heroes. The sky. Superman's shadow passed over Europe. NATO's missile shield deactivated as he flew by. Not destroyed, just turned off. The power grid flickered in perfect sync with his pulse. Then came the broadcast. Global. Untraceable. Crystal clear. This planet is on the edge. The invasion is coming from beneath. Your leaders won't admit it. They've built weapons, not solutions. I will not let this earth burn because of fear and pride. You've had your chance. Now I take command. Panic spread. Some cheered. Some screamed. Protests erupted. News anchors were silenced mid-sentence. The world split between those who still trusted Superman and those who now feared a dictator in a cape. Wakanda, underground chamber. Black Panther and Shuri examined the deep earth scanners. Beneath the planet's crust, something was stirring. Not natural. Not dormant. Alien. Intelligent. Vast. Shuri whispered, "It's like they were buried alive." Chala nodded. "And Superman knows. That's why he's doing this." He activated the interstellar beacon, one Wakanda swore to never use unless the planet was on the brink. "We'll need more than gods this time." Sanctum Sanctorum. Dr. Strange began sealing away Earth's dimensional exits. Wong approached. "You believe Kal-El is trying to protect us, but he's becoming what he swore to stop." Strange didn't answer for a long moment. Sometimes prophecy hides truth inside fear. He looked up. But fear is the beginning of belief. Final shot, Earth orbit. High above Earth, an object approached. Black, oblong, silent. Inside it, thousands of eyes opened for the first time in centuries. Alien claws tapped against reinforced glass. The invasion was beginning. Superman floated above the ionosphere, alone watching. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just hovered between Earth and what was coming. And behind him, the stars turned red. Avengers fall first. Earth orbit, 200 miles above surface. The alien ship breached Earth's atmosphere without a sound. No explosions. No energy spikes. It was coated in something beyond known materials, bending gravity, light, even detection. But Superman knew. He hovered silently in its path, eyes glowing like dying stars. The ship paused, as if uncertain, then opened like a flower made of bone. From its center emerged a humanoid creature, wrapped in silver flesh, face masked, voice like cold static. "Kal-El, you activated the signal. Your Earth is no longer protected." "Because the protectors became liabilities," Superman replied. "So you pass sentence?" "No. I pass justice." In a blur of red, Superman blasted forward. The war began. Avengers Tower, emergency protocol, engaged. "We have contact," Jarvis screamed. Tony Stark slammed his helmet down as the tower shook. A second ship had bypassed detection. It didn't attack the planet, it attacked the heroes. It released a pulse that targeted powers. Thor dropped to one knee, clutching his hammer as golden lightning around him fizzled. Wanda collapsed, eyes rolling white. Even Hulk stumbled, reverting to Banner mid-run. "They're neutralizing us," Stark shouted. Thor growled, dragging himself up. "Then we fight without powers. Like warriors." "With what?" "Sticks." Bruce coughed. Thor looked out the window. "With rage." Sky above New York, Superman versus the ship. Clark tore through the ship's outer shell like paper. He didn't stop. He didn't speak. He obliterated everything in his path. Dozens of alien soldiers swarmed him, tall, gray-skinned things with biomechanical armor and twitching spines. They moved faster than light. But Superman moved faster than thought. He burned holes through dimensions, collapsed chambers with a stare. His fists created shockwaves that shattered orbiting satellites. One soldier reached for his chest. Superman didn't flinch. He crushed the creature's skull barehanded and whispered, "This planet is under my protection." Inside the crumbling tower, Iron Man and Thor held the line. Aliens dropped from the sky like insects. Strange portals opened midair, ejecting monstrous war beasts that looked like melted gods. Captain America was gone. Vision was disassembled. Hulk was unconscious. Wanda was silent. "We're losing," Tony muttered. "Fast." Thor bled from his mouth, but he grinned. "So what? We've lost before. This time we lose loudly." Suddenly, the building shook violently. Not from outside, from below. They looked down. The ground split. A column of red energy surged up from deep within the Earth's core, and out of it rose something massive. A machine, a god, a buried weapon, and behind it floated Superman, Thor's rage. Thor launched himself at Clark without a word. Mjolnir collided with Superman's jaw. Thunder cracked the sky in half. But Superman didn't fall. He turned slowly, caught the hammer mid-swing, and held it. "You should have made them listen," he said. Thor's eyes widened. "I tried," he whispered. "Not hard enough." With a sudden burst, Superman struck Thor across the skyline, sending the god hurtling into the horizon like a meteor. Tony looked up, stunned. "Clark, what are you doing?" Superman's voice boomed across the battlefield. "Ending it." His final rule. New York, ruins of Avengers Tower. Smoke. Silence. The battlefield looked like the aftermath of a cosmic apocalypse. Only two figures stood amid the wreckage. Iron Man, barely functional, armor shattered, and Superman, untouched, glowing with silent fury. Tony coughed, blood trickling down his lip. "You could have come to us, Clark. You didn't need to do this." Superman's voice was calm, almost sad. "I did come to you. Again and again. You called it paranoia. You called me dangerous." He stepped forward. This world needed leaders who would act before the fire, not after. Tony raised a shaky repulsor. "And who decides what qualifies as fire?" Clark's eyes flared red. "The one who can feel it before it burns." Meanwhile, the sky cracks open. The alien mothership split apart, not destroyed by Superman, but by something larger. The Ancient One, awakened from a deep slumber in another realm, had arrived. Floating above Earth, cloaked in time and dust, she whispered to Dr. Strange. "This is no longer a timeline. It is a wound." Below, Strange, barely standing, nodded. "Can it be closed?" She shook her head. "Only redirected." And so, she cast one final spell, not to stop Superman, but to give him a choice. Metropolis, Ground Zero. Superman stood before the crater where the second alien machine had emerged. It was now dust, crushed beneath his rage. Lois Lane stood behind him, trembling. "Clark, look around you. Is this the protection you promised?" He didn't answer. He stared at his own hands, trembling, glowing with residual energy. For the first time, he looked afraid. "I tried to save them." "You did," Lois whispered. "But you also became what they feared most." He dropped to his knees. The earth rumbled, not in rage, but in grief. And then it stopped. Superman rose, eyes dim. No more judgment. The council rebuilds. Weeks passed. The alien threat was destroyed. The core breaches sealed. The skies calmed. But Earth was changed. Half the council was gone. Cities rebuilt in Superman's image, not as a ruler, but a warning. A statue stood in Metropolis. Not of victory, but of choice. Here stood the man who could destroy the world, and chose not to. Final scene, somewhere in space. Superman floated in silence, far from Earth, beyond any known galaxy. Alone, watching, waiting, protecting, but never again interfering. Because the greatest judgment was stepping back.